So this is a great thing. But I got two special guests with me today. I got Miss Natalie Turk from Sports Illustrated, and I got Christopher Mabry on with me as well from the All Sports All Plays Network, and he's going to be doing a little guest co-hosting with me today. And Natalie, we'll start with you first. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. And Christopher, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. So let's go ahead and get into it. So Natalie, we know that we can't have you all show with us, and that's absolutely fine. But if people don't know, I should have introduced you already as a Sports Illustrated Indians beat writer. So we know that baseball is a super busy time of the year for you. So I'm really happy that you're giving us a few minutes of your time. But we were able to text for a few minutes yesterday. I wasn't able to watch the game because I was pretty much out and about. But it looked as if the Indians were going to get swept by what is the worst team in baseball. And it's bad when you are on the brink of getting swept by the worst team in baseball. Natalie, can you talk to us a little bit about that and how they were able to salvage the series in the last game of the series?
Yeah, so we did text for a minute. I thought it was a little comical, actually. It made me think of something. So we talked the first time we, on your show, and it was more about me, kind of talking you off the ledge. That's been like a running joke with between you and I of this Indian team and the ups and downs of the season. And I not only covered them, I'm like a super avid fan. So I try to always give a positive spin. And I'm like, but if you would have talked to me Saturday, you probably would have had to talk me off the ledge. I was like, this garbage team. Like, I'm not even watching. And I was laughing. I was telling you, like, I've been busy because I'm writing. And you were like, what's there to write? But they're trash, the end. And that made me laugh. I said, do you realize how hard it is to keep writing when really, what do I say? I mean, I really began to feel that Saturday night when I was like, I can no longer spin anything good. I don't usually get down. So, on them. So luckily, they turned it around Sunday and avoided the sweep, which is not the greatest thing. I mean, we still lost 3 or 4. So, I mean, that in itself, I don't think we should have lost those games. Those were winnable games. We were in those games. They made some mistakes, weren't able to hit. That's the whole story of this offense. And it came alive yesterday. Franmil Reyes was awesome. They were able to score 7 runs. And actually, even when they had 7 runs, I didn't feel comfortable because I'm like, they're just going to blow this because it's been a very down feeling. I do not like the Yankees anyway. I just think they're arrogant. I just have a personal beef with. I just hate them. So I really was down that we had to thought. Of course they're gonna break their losing streak against the Tribe. I mean, of course that that's just poetic, ironic. It's gonna happen. But yesterday there were some things that were positive. Like I said, they were able to hit Reyes. He's looking excited. He had his first career stolen base. He almost hit for the goal.
I know, because he looks like a polar bear when he's running the bases.
Look at that. Did you see that? That big guy running, for his triple. He had that triple. I'm like, oh, yeah, he really does. A polar bear is exactly right. And I saw his pregame interview just a few minutes before I came on. And he is so excited. Like, the excitement just comes out of him when he talks. And it's like, so I think they need some of that in the dugout for them to get something going. And, we have the Twins tonight. And I hate to say it, but I do feel really good about it. The Twins are not playing well at all. They lost, I think, the last 7 out of their last 8 games. So, yeah. And here's the way I look at it. Eddie Rosario, we did get him over from the Twins.
Yeah.
he always killed us, I said. So tonight's like a revenge game for him.
Mm-hmm.
He was laughing and saying it's kind of like when you see your ex-girlfriend and you're in the new uniform. So what's he gonna do tonight? You know, when he sees his old team and that ex-girlfriend, is he gonna show up like he did against us? I'm hoping so. Uh, so that's where I stand as far as that. And I do have a little bit of a theory that I've came to over the last few days and just writing is so we are Tito platoon several players positions: first base, center field, and shortstop. I'm really thinking that this is what the problem is. It just came to me. It's like, so Josh Naylor will split time at first base and outfield with Jake Bowers. Um, you know, Ahmed Rosario was in the game playing center field against the Yankees. During the game, Tito switches him to shortstop and puts Luplo in center field. So I'm watching all this play out and I'm thinking, the way these guys are having these younger kids, you know, they're kids, I call them, but they're younger, are having to come up and make these different fielding changes. I think that's really affecting the way they're playing offensively. So I was just looking at it more like, you know, making defensive mistakes. Like Naylor had a horrible, you know, he missed a throw at first base. He tried to barehand it without his glove, and it was horrible. But the next out, you know, he made a wonderful double play. But I'm thinking, you know, they're not getting enough time to get acclimated at their positions. I think it's showing offensively. So, you know, what I would hope going forward is that Tito gets a decision and just puts these guys in regularly, consistently at the same position, gets them enough at bats, and basically quit screwing around with this lineup. And I think that's going to turn things around. But what do I know? I'm not the manager of the Cleveland Indians, so.
Yeah, Chris. Now, Chris, are you located
Yeah.
in Texas too?
Yeah, I'm in Texas. I'm in Dallas.
Okay. So we know you're not watching the Indians at all. But you know what? One of the things I wanted to go back is we've struggled against the Yankees since last year. And I don't know what the problem is, you know, them booting us out and then, you know, we struggled. But Chris, outside perspective a little bit, you know, I know you're not watching, you know, the Indians every day. But, you know,
Right.
knowing that we have one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, for us to, you know, come out pretty much flat. What are your thoughts about that based on what Natalie has said as well?
I think it has a lot to do with maybe what happened with the COVID situation last year. Maybe it hasn't had, you know, teams a lot of time to get their footing in, and then you're kind of going off of a couple month break before starting back up since the season started so late. So maybe it has something to do with that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you know, one of the things is, you know, it's not at full capacity, you know, as far as, you know, that home crowd feel, but, you know, they didn't have anybody there last year and they made the playoffs. You know, Natalie, did anybody hammer with Tito as far as the switching of the positions? Because I find that kind of odd. And, you know, I still feel some type of way regarding Tito and the coaching decisions he made in the 2016 World Series. And I know that this was 5 years ago, but I have always felt that maybe if he had put Ryan Merritt in for a game instead of, you know, just relying on the rotation of Corey Kluber and Andrew Miller and let, you know, Ryan Merritt get in there. And even if he got roughed up a little bit, it gave Corey Kluber and Andrew Miller a rest instead of asking them to pitch 66 times in 9 days. And they just didn't have the gas. Put that kid in there. He did great against the Blue Jays. Yeah. You know, I just wanted to know what could have possibly happened if he did that. And also, I wasn't a fan of our offensive strategy as well. Lots of times we were down an account trying to swing from below, and almost every pitch that was delivered to us was a belt high fastball. So you're already in the count. 0-2. I had a really issue with that because Chicago was playing really aggressive as far as swinging the bat. And then when you had Corey Kluber and Andrew Miller, you know, going as far as they did, they got tired. So guess what? I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to be able to get hits. I'm going to be able to string hits together and bring people home where I don't really even necessarily have to hit home runs. I just got to put bats to ball, and I can get singles and doubles and score people home. And those are two of the things that always stuck out to me when it came to that World Series, was about him not giving putting Ryan Merritt out there for at least one game, and saw what happened. Like I said, even if he got roughed up and we lost that game, you still gave a rest to your two pitching stars. So I'm thinking long term in just our offensive strategy. So, those are some of the issues that, I have with his coaching. And I'm not liking the switching of players as he's doing right now. I'm not a fan of it.
No, and you're absolutely right. I liked Ryan Merritt, and what he did, and I agree with you. And maybe we're women and we don't forget things as easily, but
No,
I
I
still
don't.
remember that from 2016. And there is that saying in Cleveland, "In Tito we trust." And I hate to admit it, but right now I'm not trusting him.
I'll
And
wait.
and I'll
Thank
take
you.
it back to, I agree with everything you're saying from 2016. And Tito Sandy was coaching a lot of the shortened season last year, which I feel he did a great job doing that. And I really just started, like I said, to think about, I don't know why I didn't really, I looked at it more from a defensive aspect, but I was like, wait, I think this is affecting our offense because with them not getting consistent at bats, and then also think about it. If you have to mentally, excuse me, like play one position, and then all of a sudden you have to go jump to shortstop in the middle of a game, your mind's thinking all the different things you have to do for the different positions, and that's affecting your batting. So the way I'm really disappointed. And you asked if anyone has really hammered him, and that's no. It's for anything that I've heard from being there or watching it firsthand. I have not heard anyone bring this up to him. So when I do go on Wednesday, I will be there. I hope I get the chance to ask this question because it is burning in my mind. When he, first of all, if he sees it as the same way, like, is this affecting our offense? And what does the future plan look? I mean, is this the season long plan to switch these players out all the time? Are we going to make a decision? I mean, I know we keep saying it's early, but it's not really that early anymore. At what point are we going to make a decision on first base, center field, and shortstop and stick with it? Because I don't like this, and I like to hear what he would have to say. And so far, I haven't. Um, Publicly, personally, when I've been down to the park or in any pregame or postgame shows, had him talk about that. So I'm more leaning on the side as I'm not as upset as at some of the players that are in those positions for making some errors or not hitting that well when they're not getting consistent at bats, and able to do that. So that's my take on the way things are going, or kind of what the problem is. I was thinking, we're just not gelling. Maybe they just all suck. I don't, I'm getting all this negative thoughts, and I thought maybe it's just as simple as getting these guys consistent, letting them play every day, and get this team, make it a team. Because I still believe, I've always told you, the pitching, I believe from rotation or starting rotation all the way. Even though Plezak's on the mound tonight, he's had some struggles in his last two starts. He was great last year, and I really hope he turns it around tonight. The bullpen's been solid. Karinchak and Clase at the closer roles, they've been great. So as long as we can get, like I said, we have Jose Ramirez, Eddie Rosario, Reyes. I mean, I feel like we have talent in the lineup. It's just, they're producing sporadically, not as a team. So,
And hold that thought, Natalie, because we got to take a quick break, right quick. You
all
are
right.
listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Attention WOVU listeners. WOVU, Metro Health, the Cuyahoga County Board of Health, and East Cleveland City Schools are offering free COVID-19 Pfizer
are listening to WOVU 95.9 FM.
All right, welcome back to Her and Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and we try to give you some of the best sports talk in the world out here. So thank you for always listening to us and joining us. We appreciate you. And remember, you can always give us a call at 216-271-0959. You think I know that by now. And you can also listen to us on WOVU.org, and you can download the WOVU app and listen to us on the go. So today, I do have Ms. Natalie Turk from Sports Illustrated here with us, graciously giving us her time because I know she's super excited to watch this game tonight against the Minnesota Twins. And we have Chris Membry from All Sports, All Plays Network guest co-hosting with me. And Natalie, one of the things you were talking about the bullpen and some of our pitching. So what is going on with Zach Plesac? Because as you mentioned, he showed a lot of promise last year and unfortunately a lot of immaturity as well. But he showed a lot of promise on the mound. And this year he is just getting his patootie handed to him almost every outing. What is going on with him?
Right. So I think his first start was, excuse me, I have this horrible cough. His first start was pretty good. And then, the last two have not been good. I was almost concerned that he was injured because I'm not used to seeing Plesac pitch that way. And I felt very confident with Savali, Bieber, and Plesac. So what I've heard is he just is having some trouble with his mechanics, and they've worked with him on that. Now, tonight, I think will tell us that because he's going up against so Nelson Cruz and Donaldson. They're going to be, two of the Twins batters that he's going to have to worry about. But, after that, the rest of the lineup has kind of taken a hit for the Twins. So tonight is Plesac's chance, in my mind, to kind of show us if we really need to be worried. So I am semi-worried right now. I am going to be full-blown, probably, I wouldn't say panic. I'm very dramatic to those who don't normally listen to me. But
that's
probably,
okay.
Yeah, I might be on the dramatically panic side if he has a bad outing tonight, because he's one that, I had no problems with him. I wrote about Logan Allen. That's who I've been more concerned about. And he's still struggling as well somewhat. So I thought his job was more in jeopardy than, Plesac. So I want to say that, Plesac's going to do well. And, Plesac has a bad first inning. And I'll tell you right now, we made it through the first inning and there's no runs yet. So, hey, little cheer for that. At least I can say, yay, he made it through the first inning. And, this
Wait, I have a clapping sound.
Yes, please play.
All right. Yes.
We need applause for Plesac. He needs something,
Do a wave. So what was your thoughts about the duel that Garrett Cole had versus Shane Bieber?
Oh, well, that was something. So I was sad that Bieber lost the duel. Cole, he looked great out there. I have to tip my cap to him. Bieber, he gave up 2 solo shots and, he made 2 errors that way, 2 mistakes, went out the yard. And, Bieber's still Bieber. I love him. He's our ace. He's solid. He just didn't win that matchup, against Garrett Cole. And so
it just drives me insane though, because I'm like, these are the matchups you need to win.
Oh,
when you go up against the other perennial, pitchers in this league, these are the ones you need to win. But there isn't anything that can be done, because it's just like, usually if he gives up that home run, early or a run early or two, he settles down. But it's just this offense being anemic, and I want to caution you when you ask that question to Tito, because sometimes he doesn't take kindly to questions that challenge him a little bit.
Yeah,
and
thank you for the advice.
I've been on the receiving end of that a few times. So he doesn't really like my questions per se. So I think, when this COVID is over, me and him might have to sit down and have smoke a peace pipe or something like that and come to a conclusion. But there isn't enough there. I'm not trying to gain anything by the questions that I'm asking you regarding this team and the play. I'm just looking for a straight up answer, and if you take it offensively, then that's on you. But, if I'm asking you about the defense, having issues, fielding and things like that, I'm simply asking about there's no hidden motive. So tread lightly when you ask that question, because I'm just like, I don't know how that one is going to be
I may
perceived.
never be in there, that'd be maybe my last question ever. So, and hopefully
you got to keep asking them. You got to keep asking them.
I am that way. So I'm very inquisitive, and I want to know for myself. So I have ran through my mind, appropriate way to word it in a way that, will be, of course, respectful. But it's a question that I honestly think, I'm on Twitter nonstop. So I really, I interact with Indians fans, and they all want to know the same thing, not necessarily about platooning the players, but what is going on with the offense. And when are we getting, everyone wants to know, when is Bobby Bradley coming up for AAA? That's all anyone cares about on Twitter. Or when are we getting rid of Jake Bowers? And, it's all these things. So I think to answer the fans' questions and their concerns would just be more of what I'm asking. And what I want to know is, when are we getting this lineup consistent? When are we setting the positions down and making a decision, on that? And I think hopefully I can get, that answer, and I'll feel good about that. And Please Zach just gave up a home run. So I'm done.
Man,
yeah.
I'm taking back the clapping I just gave.
Yeah, we spoke too soon, so it's gonna be all right though. I hope. I'm not as upbeat as when we first, I first came on your show, but I was so happy that you had me back on tonight, because I had so much fun. I just enjoy you so much.
Oh, thank you. I
appreciate
it. I enjoy you too.
I love this show, and I love to be a part of it, and I'm always ready to talk Indians. I know you had some other topics, and I was like, yeah, I've just been consumed. With this is my first season covering for Sports Illustrated, so it's taking up. It's a little different than what I've covered for all local sites before. So it's just a lot different for me this season. So.
Absolutely. This beat, can be insane. It's a lot. I think a lot of people don't realize, because that season All-Star, obviously, COVID changed a lot. But, I attended almost every game. And, I didn't go to, away games. I probably could have. But, just doing almost every home game is burnout. And, at that time they were kind of decent. So it wasn't as bad. But, having to, right now sit through what's going on, it's kind of bad. So, I think that'd be a great question. But I think, when it comes to Bobby Bradley, fans, I don't know how patient they are going to be, because, they have issues with Bobby Bradley because he strikes out a lot, but, you're going to get some home runs. So, it's like, okay, what are you going to do? How are you going to, if this team isn't hitting at all, are you okay with, you're going to get your home run occasionally, we don't know how many RBIs, but, he's going to strike out a lot, and then they'll be clamoring for him to get sent back down.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, what's going to happen, because that's what happened, 2 years ago when he was brought up, a lot of excitement, but, I would say almost as much as excitement as it was with Francisco Lindor, but we know that was a completely different situation.
Yes. And Bobby Bradley, I don't think by any means is the answer,
No.
the end all be all. Like
No.
Bradley comes up and we're just going to the World Series. That's not happening.
No,
so
definitely not.
Yeah, but we did, bring up your beloved Lindor and missing him. But I don't know if it's a good or bad thing that I like Lindor as a player, but I think it makes me feel better that he's not doing really great things yet. in New York because then I don't feel as bad that he's not with us. Does that make me like a bad person? I don't know.
Yeah, but and then it made you wonder, was he going to come out the gate and be awesome, or was it going to,
Yeah.
take him some time to settle in? And before we take our second break, because I know you got to go unless you want to stay longer with us, I don't know.
I'd have to go at this
Okay.
break, but
I want to get your thoughts about Trevor Bauer and what's going on with him. What are your thoughts about what's going on with Trevor Bauer?
oh yeah, so I was Tatis Jr. I read like some things how he said he
He's
was
getting
stealing signs, and then Tatis posted a picture of a baby, and Trevor Bauer is just Trevor Bauer. I mean, there's really nothing I can say about this man. I go from like a love-hate relationship with him, to be honest, because sometimes I like his dramatics because I'm dramatic, so I'm like, but the things he does is just, some of them are way over the top. Even when he was in Cleveland, like we threw that ball for center field, it was like
the last pitch he ever threw for the Cleveland.
Yep, that was it. And so I think he is one of the best in the game. It's his personality, sometimes his ego, and just the oddness of him, I think, that is what gets him in a bit of trouble, I would say. So
yeah, I tell people one of the things that to really get an understanding of Trevor Bauer is to read that Sports Illustrated article about him that came out, and I'm like, it really goes into the deeply into the psyche of Trevor Bauer. And once you read that article, you'll get an understanding of it, because I didn't have a chance to talk to him about it, and I really wanted to, because he talked about how badly he was bullied and it shaped him, and I was bullied a ton too. And reading that, I really empathize with him, and not saying it's okay to be a jerk. It's absolutely not.
no.
But just, how he is, his makeup as a person, I'm like, that Sports Illustrated article was just very insightful and tells you so much. But one thing, and I know you got to go, we got to take this second break, but he was right about the Astros. So say what you want about Trevor Bauer.
That's right.
He was absolutely 100% right.
Yes.
I don't care
He's
what
a
you got to say.
Smart man.
But he was right.
He is so smart too. I
Yes.
mean, the way his brain works. And I appreciate what you said about like his bullying. It gives you a different look about, when they say, he didn't really interact with his teammates and stuff as well. The way we grow up in things shapes who we are. And it can make you look at him from a different way. Like maybe he is cocky, but maybe a lot of that is from him just trying to prove himself. And I really like his outspokenness, though, because I'm outspoken too. So that's one thing I like about him. Whether I agree with his politics, whatever he talks about, I don't agree with a lot, but I appreciate that he speaks up for things. So
yeah, and I appreciate you, Natalie. I thank you for taking time. Yeah, and like I said, you are welcome to come in here, come on anytime with us and talk Indians. I love talking baseball, so I'd love to do it all 60 minutes, but we got some other topics we got to hit. But thank you so much for taking your time out today to speak with us. I know you got a ball game to watch, and I'll be in touch, and I'll see you soon. Thanks so much, Natalie.
Thanks you, Chris. You guys have a good night.
Good to see you.
Thank you. And we're going to go ahead and take this second break. You are listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We will be right back. Better days are ahead. WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports Stars. Remember, you can give us a call at 216-271-0959. You can also listen to us online at WOVU.org, and you can also download the WOVU app so you can take us with you on the go. And I'm here with Chris Mabry now. So we just had Natalie Turk on with us, just having a very interesting conversation with us about the Cleveland Indians. She is the beat reporter for Sports Illustrated. So she is in the trenches, and she had to go to watch the Indians. And it looks like right now the Cleveland Indians are down 2-1 to the Minnesota Twins, which has been one of our nemesis for the past few years now in our division. So should be a very interesting series right now. The Cleveland Indians are sitting at 9-11 on the season, and the Minnesota Twins are sitting at 7-13. So this is a crucial series that the Indians have got to win against one of their division rivals. So right now, this division is not too great right now, but you got to beat the teams that you need to beat. And right now, they are not a good team. Now, Chris, you were telling our audience a little bit about yourself. Now, you're from Texas. What part of Texas are you from?
I'm in Plano, which is close enough to Dallas, but
okay. So what's the team you following out there? Are you a Rangers fan?
I'm a Rangers fan, yeah.
All right.
We're struggling too.
Yeah, I was about to say, what are the Rangers doing out there? What are their issues out there?
I mean, pitching seems to be okay, and I think defense is okay. I just don't think we're finishing out games too much or too well, and that's where ball games are either won or lost, is in the last few innings.
Absolutely. And it looks like the Cleveland Indians right now are sitting in third place of the Central Division. So the Royals are 14-7. The White Sox are 12-9. Indians 9-11. The Twins are 7-13. And the Detroit Tigers are 7-16. So that's where we're sitting at right now. And hopefully maybe the Indians can go ahead and get this win. Now, Chris, how'd you become a sports fan?
I wanted to get into sports because I'm hopefully going to make a career of it. I'm trying to get a degree and try to do all that. So hopefully to get a full-time job.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate you, producing with me tonight on StreamYard, All Sports All Plays Network, and also co-hosting with me. Now, are you a Cleveland Cavalier fan at all?
I do watch them. I am a fan. I know. I know LeBron been there now. He's with LA, but yeah, I've been keeping up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts about what this team is? Because here in Cleveland, we are just kind of over it. We know that once again we should be a lottery pick, but we are having some of the issues that we are drafting people who just kind of are not putting that, LeBron is a once-in-a-generation type player and an impactful player. We have not been in position to get those impactful players. So what are your thoughts of what are some of the things that the Cavs need to do from the outside looking in?
Maybe try to get into free agency and see if that will help, and maybe get a higher draft pick. I mean, it's hard to find players in the draft because they're good in college, but college and the NBA or whatever sport you want to compare it to, it's kind of different.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe the same thing. What are your thoughts about some of the veteran leadership that we have on this team, specifically Kevin Love? What are your thoughts about him and the impact he's had on this team? What do you think that they should do with him?
Having Kevin Love or any kind of veteran helps, especially with new players coming in, either as a rookie or as a free agent. It gives them leadership, and it kind of makes the locker room a little bit better, and I think that will help.
And what are some of your thoughts about Isaac Okoro, who we did draft? Do you feel like he's really, an impact player for us at all?
I think so, and I think at time or down the line, he'll get a lot better and hopefully help the Cavs or get a title.
Well, I think we're a long ways out from that as we stand currently. The hope on the horizon is going to be Colin Sexton, who we have, and that's our young bull. That's, the person who's contributing positively to the team first and foremost, but obviously he can't get it done by himself. And, people are excited about the young nucleus that we do have: a Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro. Last night, Darius Garland stepped up because there was no Colin Sexton. So, they weren't able to get the victory last night, I believe, against the, I think, did he play DC last night? I remember. Either DC or I think it was Charlotte. I think it was DC. But we're not able to get the victory last night. But Darius Garland had over 20 points. So, he's become that go-to player to help when Colin Sexton can't do things for us. One of the things I wanted to talk about was, and not really one of my favorite players, probably kinds of and at least here in Cleveland, he is not a beloved character at all because he stopped us from winning 3 titles. So I wanted to get your thoughts on Steph Curry. Right now, he is on a tear, and he has had an NBA record for the most threes in a calendar month with 85. And we still have 4 days left in the month of April. Still. So what are your thoughts about Steph Curry? Because last night he had 7 threes in the game. So if he, keeps that average up, obviously he can set the record for threes in a month. But, what are your thoughts about Steph Curry and just how much of an amazing player and shooter he is?
He's pretty good. I know Mavericks had his brother on the team, and Steph Curry he's pretty good. Winning 3 titles. I know he didn't play well in the beginning of his career, but since then, in winning those titles, he's been phenomenal, and I think he'll continue to break records.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be too shabby. Yeah, so the Cavs played the Wizards last night, and they lost 110-119, and they were leading going into like the final couple minutes of the game, and then the Wizards just clamped down on defense, and that was that. So sorry, I wanted to get that there while I was looking. But yeah, Steph Curry, I don't remember him struggling that much when he came in. Maybe but he's been in the league now for a good little while. He was just that player that, everybody rooted for because he came from Davidson. He had a great showing in March Madness. It wasn't enough. And then he got to the league and, kind of teamed up with Draymond. And, they became at first they were a team that everybody loved. And then they got cocky and started feeling themselves. And then they became the villain. And unfortunately, the Cleveland Cavaliers just came up against bad timing and, came up against, a potential dynasty. And then, we all know the story, how they got Kevin Durant, and that just, unfortunately, I know LeBron didn't think about that when he came back to Cleveland, that was something, that things were going to play out the way that they did. It is what it is. History is what it is. And, like I said, most of us here in Cleveland, Ohio, we are not the biggest Steph Curry fans, but I think you have to appreciate him so much, as an athlete, as a basketball player, how he's changed the game, how pivotal the 3-point shot has become, how people have worked on that aspect with their game as well. So, we have to appreciate the influence that he's had on this game, will continue to have, and look back in a historical context of what he's did as well. So, should be very interesting in the Cleveland Cavaliers take on the Raptors. So they are on the road still, just coming off of, so this will be the 3rd road game straight, and then they'll be back home this Wednesday taking on the Magic. So the Cleveland Cavaliers will be taking on Raptors. The Cleveland Cavaliers are 21-39. The Raptors are 25-35. So should be a winnable game. We shall see. Don't know if Colin Sexton will be back tonight, but this probably should be a winnable game either way for them. So, Chris, we're going to go ahead and take a really quick break. We are going to be right back. You are listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We will be right back.
The Cuyahoga County Office of
FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I am here with Christopher Mabry, who's helping me co-host the show. We're getting through the last 15 minutes that we got going on, and wanted to stay on the topic of basketball a little bit. LeBron is near and dear to our hearts here in Cleveland, and despite how you felt about him leaving, it is what it is. And, unfortunately, me and Natalie talked about, how we are women, and sometimes I know for myself, I don't let things go easily. But, I was able to let go of LeBron going to the Lakers. It was so much easier this time because I had a title. So, this was definitely something that was much easier for me to deal with. So, it is what it is. I got a title. It didn't hurt as much as it did the last time. So it looks like LeBron is gearing up to make a comeback. He's been working out, and stuff like that. Did you catch the video of him working out, Chris?
I haven't, but I mean, being that it's LeBron, no big surprise.
Hey man, but He's looking good. He's always looked good. I mean, I wasn't expecting, for him to be off at all. But I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I put out there that I don't think LeBron was as hurt as the doctors claim that he is. I felt like LeBron needed to get a little rest for the playoffs, and you look at where we're at right now. It's almost playoff time. So I figured that this was a little rest for him to, get ready for the Lakers to go ahead and defend their title. And, he wasn't as hurt as he says he is. Maybe I'm thinking that he's so bionic that, it's hard for, anything to really hurt him like that. So, but he's looking good. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was the comment that he made regarding the Ma'Khia Bryant case. And she pretty much posted a photograph of the police officer that shot Ms. Bryant and said that you're next, meaning that that police officer should be held accountable. And this comment set all of his comments set off, a firestorm. But this one in particular, because, obviously it's such a sensitive topic, pretty much the everyday news cycle is Black person gets killed by the police, Republican, says something racist about Black people. And then also there's been a mass shooting. I mean, these are some of the headlines that are just constantly on repeat. So this is tied to one of the headlines that we have on repeat. And, LeBron took down his post and said that his post was used to create more racism. And it created a firestorm. This country is so divided, amongst racial lines, unfortunately. But LeBron just said he wants there to be more accountability when the people who are sworn to protect us also murder us. And, I haven't watched the video yet. I don't know if I ever will. It's hard for me to continue to watch videos of Black people being killed, period. And, LeBron, obviously, social justice is something that he's been very involved in, and it's something that's a passion thing for him. He's a Black male. He's been a victim of racism in which, there were things spray painted on his home. So, LeBron is one of our de facto leaders, that athlete. I look at him as our Muhammad Ali when it comes to justice and injustice. And I honestly don't think that there was anything wrong with the comment that he left, because you do want people to be held accountable if they went against their training, they went against laws, they went against, morals and ethics. So I don't really have a problem with it. What are your thoughts about, the controversy that kind of spun off of his comment in his Instagram post?
I mean, I don't have a problem with it either, but I mean, that comment of "you're next" can go so many other ways that maybe he should have said, as far as going, being arrested or whatever, it should have said "you're next" of being held accountable instead of just saying "you're next," because that could turn into so many different ways.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think, he should have provided more context because that was one of the things, and it was blown up as, as if he was advocating for violence. But, no one has been violent towards these police officers. If
Right.
anything, they have been the most protected people out there. You think about the shooting that took place in Minnesota, Dante Wright, how the police officer, her home was like fully guarded and protected, and taxpayers paid for that. So these police
Mhm.
officers are safe. But I believe you're absolutely right that there should have been, more context to it. And I think you're absolutely right with that. Excuse me, because it could have been taken any way, and a lot of ambiguity was there. So I think you're absolutely right with that. Should LeBron keep speaking out regarding these issues?
I mean, he's done it before, and I think he'll probably continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, maybe he should only because he's been doing it, and it's led to a lot of change in sports, NBA, and around other sports of what he's done. So
Yeah, and especially, when it comes to voting rights, more than a vote, getting people out to vote. And that's so important. If we want to change laws, we have to change the lawmakers, because a lot of people, who make the laws will not make laws that are advantageous to people of color. So, the right to vote, the power to vote, these are important things. And LeBron is very influential, to, the Black race as a whole. So, I think it's important. He's an excellent, example of success. You do not have to be an athlete to be successful as a Black person, but he is that monument of success. And being an athlete, being, almost a billionaire, creating generational wealth for himself, his family, creating generational wealth for his friends, starting companies, giving back, and also helping these young athletes that, are on the roster of Clutch Sports, being an athlete, being a professional, being a philanthropist, being a business person, being a better person. What he's done, because I tell people, the Black community isn't one community. There's so different communities. But, he's been so important to the Black race as a whole and helpful. And these are the type of people that we need to lift up and elevate, because one thing America hates is a powerful Black man, and they hate LeBron James. They sit up here and talk about how much he makes, but how much do the billionaires who own these teams make? They never talk about those things. So people will side with billionaires over millionaires just because they're Black. So, just, for LeBron for, what he says, and all types of things like that. So, Chris, we only got a couple minutes left. What are your thoughts? I see you got on a Cowboys, polo with a Dallas Cowboys emblem on there. And,
yeah.
sorry the Cleveland Browns had to come into Jerry's world and take the Dallas Cowboys to task. What's going on with your team, man?
I don't know. I mean, Sean Lee retired earlier today. I mean, even before he retired, I felt like defense was a priority Dallas needed to do or to get in the draft. A lot of people may think that maybe offense will be what they choose, but I just hope they pick someone, that's good, like we did with CeeDee Lamb. But
Oh yeah, I like CeeDee Lamb. He's gonna be
CeeDee Lamb's
good.
good. Yeah.
He's gonna be a good pro. What's going on with Dax? When is he supposed to come back?
I think he's on the road to recovery. When he signed his contract, he came to the podium or the table or whatever with a boot or without a boot, and people were shocked that he didn't have anything on. And then I think he went to the Masters with no boot. So I think he's getting there.
Is he going to be able to start?
I hope so. I mean, if he can't, maybe find another quarterback or a better backup. I mean, Gilbert's good. Dalton left for Chicago.
I
And
mean,
then we have
you didn't foresee Andy Dalton as being an option like a starter, did you?
no. I mean, he's a good backup if we ever needed him, and we did. But I didn't see him as a full-time starter. No.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said you don't know if Dak will be ready to go by opening day?
I feel like he will be. Oh, but with the NFL, you doing the virtual meetings, maybe that'll give him time to rest his ankle.
Okay. Okay. I mean, what position are y'all picking?
I feel like we're going defense. I'm thinking J.C. Horn.
What number is
10.
Okay. Yeah. What are some other areas of need that you guys have?
I feel like safety is another, mainly defense. I feel like safety and linebacker are the two positions that Dallas probably needs to focus on.
All right, so we got 2 minutes left right now. Have you been watching the Browns? I know that we came into Jerry's world and kind of ran a clinic against the Dallas Cowboys, but we haven't been able to beat the Dallas Cowboys for years. 1 minute left. Thoughts about the Cleveland Browns, and could this team possibly make it to the Super Bowl, because it came so close to beating the Chiefs? Thoughts about them?
It came so close. I feel like they can make a Super Bowl. Maybe this year or next year is their chance. They came so close last year. A couple calls didn't go their way, but other than that, they feel like they're getting better.
Are you rooting for us?
I am.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear. But, we were so close. And, the common thread around here is that if they had been able, they should have won that game against the Chiefs when Pat Mahomes went out, no excuse. But as a young team, first, foray in the playoffs in over 20 years. So, they didn't know how to pull something out like that just yet. Unfortunately, the defense couldn't get a critical stop when they needed to. But, this team has learned from that. And, I think if they get an opportunity like that again, they'll be able to do it. But Chris, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. Appreciate you. You're listening to Her and Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. Thanks for listening.